welcome back to episode 3 of Hatsukaichi. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right, because I always feel like I'm messing it up, and to be honest, it might take me a few episodes just to kind of get used to saying it, really, because I'm still not used to it. I keep wanting to say welcome back to Project Rai. It's just so ingrained in me. Anyways, let's actually get into today's episode. Today, I'm going to be building something kind of basic, but for me, not really basic, because I'm not good with networks. But before I begin my rant about networks and stuff, we're basically going to be updating this highway intersection here so that we've got it merging off and on to a toll booth, and I'm hoping to get the majority of traffic to actually kind of flow through this intersection. So we're going to be missing out a lot on the left where we actually initially built. I want a lot to kind of flow through here, because this is going to be the whole episode basically is just us updating this highway here. We're adding in a toll booth, and we're also going to be adding in like an office building that's going to deal with more like for sure than it will be functional, but it's kind of like an inspection area. So you'll go through the toll booth, and if they think that they want to inspect your cargo and stuff, you'll pull in and they'll have a little look through it. And I've also gone and added in at the back of it, it's a bit like a road maintenance area. I plan on coming back to this in the future, because I have left an area that's kind of blank to the top right of the toll booths, like totally empty, because I wasn't sure in the end. I was going to actually fill that area in this episode, but I was just so undecided of what I was going to put there. I was thinking in my head, do I want to do like some sort of water treatment plant down there? Do I just want to do some buildings, or do I just want to actually turn that into the road maintenance area and kind of make it like a little bit of an industrial area? So what I've decided to do is just leave it empty for now, just fill it in with some trees, and I can come back to it in a future episode. And maybe in that future episode we do like a little bit of an overhaul around the toll booth area. So I figured either way it's kind of a win-win. So that was my idea for that. Now, before I talk any more about the actual episode itself, I do want to just say I still haven't sorted my mic, because I totally forgot about actually dealing with it. So it still sounds a little bit scuffy, but I should have it sorted by the next episode, because it's an absolute nightmare to deal with when editing, and to be honest, I just don't think it sounds very great. So I do apologize for the audio of me talking not being that great. Now, onto the actual episode. Now, this footpath that you can see me playing around with, I wasn't sure if I was going to actually even keep it in the episode, because I was kind of thinking about how functional it's going to be, and is it actually going to get used. And it's definitely going to, because I threw in a load of houses in like weird locations where they're going to be in the future. And it was actually really cool to actually see them crossing. Like, you can see where that little gully is at the moment, where the highway goes above it. That's going to be filled with water later on. But I actually do like a little pedestrian bridge that goes across, and then they can use that one that goes through the mountain. Well, not the mountain, but through the hillside and then up to the highway. And it was just really cool to see them actually using it. But for now, I'm just tinkering around with these networks for the highway, and oh my, I spent so long fiddling with these things, tweaking them, trying to get the right heights, and just trying to make sure it didn't look totally scuffed, because you know me, it annoys me even now thinking about it. I'm not great with highways. Not highways, sorry, networks in general, which is why I generally don't like to show them. But I figured maybe it'd be cool, like, if you guys can kind of see how I go about building it, really. But not only that, I get like a lot of information and a lot of like tips and tricks from like other YouTubers as well that are absolutely, they do fantastic work with networks. So I've learned a lot from watching other people over quite a long time, to be honest. And just lately as well, I've learned like some new things, which is kind of cool. But one of the big ones that I've been trying to do again is, if you'll remember in Project Rai, I actually thought I'd broke my save, and it was actually it was broke because I'd saved over the error. I'd saved while having the error, which meant getting rid of the error was pretty much impossible. And it was when I tried to use intersection marking tool that you can see now, and instead of using like a dash line or a solid, I'd selected the drop down that I believe it says decorative network. And what I'd done within that tab is I wanted some fences to follow the road, and I didn't want to place them by hand because it takes so long and it'd probably not look very good me doing all that on camera. So I ended up using them through intersection marking tool, but what I'd done wrong is I'd used the terrain conforming fences, and when you use that with intersection marking tool, it just breaks a load of stuff, and all my trees disappeared and the stuff stopped working properly. And yeah, but basically where I'm going with this is I'm trying to use it again, but I'm being safer about it when I use it. So when I'm trying different networks out and different props and whatnot, I'm making sure that they're right ones, and then when I do place them down, I'm saving my game, but I'm calling it something else. Like I'll put test at the end of it, and I'll basically carry on playing for a little bit, see if my trees disappear. If they don't, I'll resave over that test again, and then I'll reload the game, and if it works, totally fine. But it's mainly just me being a bit paranoid at that point. I'm probably being super extreme, but I'd rather be super extreme than come into a proper problem. And where I'm basically going with this is, if any of you have used guardrails before, around your own highways maybe and stuff, you'll probably know that when you start to when you're working with different heights, they can go a little bit scuffy when you're going like around a bend and stuff. They'll get like this weird loop in them, or like a dip, and it just, some of it will disappear under the ground, and a lot of the times there's just nothing you can kind of do to fix it, so it's super frustrating. So what I'd done is, and I think it's coming up very shortly after I move these retaining walls into place, and I'm probably gonna, I think I lower it because it's just a little bit too high right now. Yeah, I'm definitely lowering it. Gotta get that height right, otherwise everything doesn't work properly. Okay, so I actually tell a lie. We're actually just gonna quickly finish off detailing around these merge points just by putting in some plastic poles, a little water barrel, just for like crashes and stuff. Unfortunately, City Skylines 1 doesn't actually have crashes in it like City Skylines 2. So, you know, that would be so cool if City Skylines 1 actually had that in, to be honest. That would be so cool. It's one of the things I thought was pretty cool and unique about City Skylines 2, the fact that you could actually have crashes and whatnot and it'd affect the traffic. Now, this is what I was talking about. This right here with the guardrail, I can move it wherever I want, and it's gonna follow the line of the road absolutely perfect. There's gonna be no problems with it whatsoever. Now, there is only one problem, and that's the fact that it's just a floating rail. There's no poles or no nothing. So you can see right there, I've got a pole actually already on the road, and that's basically a prop that I do have to place manually, but it's a small pain and a sacrifice that I'm willing to pay to not have to deal with the actual network doing really weird things. So it's going to actually look really smooth and it's going to look great. And as you can see, I've adopted this for the retaining wall as well. I didn't know at first. It looks really smooth and like I'd thought of it almost instantly, but it's only because the video's sped up. I was actually thinking for quite a while, how am I gonna do the retaining wall? And then it clicked, why don't I just do it the same way that I did the rail. And I'm actually gonna adopt this same line of thinking, to be honest, for a lot of this entire intersection. Now, you can see there is a little bit of a jump in the footage here, and this is what I was meaning by future-proofing up and coming episodes and whatnot. You can see there's a load of roads south of this that I've already put in. I left them out because I spent maybe about half of a day gridding out everything that's south of here, because what's going to be south of here is a neighborhood on a completely elevated level with a school that also has it's going to be a path that's going to go down the mountainside, but there's also a road that follows it. So that's going to be really cool when we actually get around to actually building that up. But yeah, I did this off camera just because it has no real effect actually on this episode, apart from that one road goes over. But you're not missing much. Once you've seen me do like one or two, you've basically seen it pretty much all after that point. So yeah, right now I'm just putting some detailing down as well, some bushes, some trees. I'm really trying to I need to find some more, to be honest, some different color ones. I know I said this in my last episode as well, but I need to find like some other bushes that are like some different colors, but they're also a decent texture, because there's some good bushes and whatnot on the workshop and you think, oh yeah, they're great, and then when you actually get them in the game, like the texture on them is really low, or it doesn't look that great anymore, and it doesn't blend in with the other ones that you've got. So it can be a little bit of a pain at times for me to find new bushes and whatnot. So I'm basically using the same detailing ones that I've always used, just along with just some, I believe they're called like generic bushes and stuff like that off of the workshop. So if you're interested in them, I believe they're called generic. I think there's like generic bushes and trees, pack 1 and 2, and I've basically got them, and I'm just mixing them together to make it look like loads of different stuff. Now, there is one thing I did do, I'll talk about really quickly before I talk about this Tollbooth, is I maybe went a little bit overboard on the foliage, but I'll be honest, I really like the foliage, so it's got a small place in my heart for me to go a little bit overboard on areas with it, instead of leaving them a little bit barren and sparse like sometimes they should be. But I can't help myself, I love like making an area really jam-packed full of trees and bushes and all that type of stuff. So yeah. Okay, so we're finally here. Probably my favorite part about building this area, because I was kind of getting a little bit ran down by all the networks and stuff, because it looks like I didn't do much and it was done rather quickly, but I actually spent a few days dealing with the actual highway itself. So it was actually kind of a relief to get over to this area, which didn't actually ended up taking too long to build actually. In fact, I was done building it after like one afternoon, I believe. It was very quick. I built this area. Now, I will say, I don't know what happened, if I was eating at the time and totally forgot to record, or if I recorded and then ended up deleting it because I thought it was one of the dud ones that I don't use, because sometimes I'll record and then I'll say no, it took too long, it was a bit annoying, and then I'll delete it and then start again. But you'll be able to see this office building currently. It's like 4 stories, well 3 stories by the looks of it here, and I edit it that you can see in the background because I did like a test version of it, and I bring it down to 1 story. But there's going to be like a little bit of a time jump coming up very soon, but for now we're just tinkering with intersection marking tool, which I absolutely love. I love the white lines of it and stuff, especially for this, because it helped me line it up with the toll booths itself, because I wanted the top road to be, that goes straight into the top toll booth, to be as straight as possible, and using node controller here to actually push the line up to make it really straight worked so well, because otherwise I wasn't sure how I was going to do it. Now, this is that time skip that I was on about. I don't know what happened. It was kind of weird. I wish I knew what had happened. I should have just gone back and recorded it, but it was too late by the time that I figured out what had happened. Now, the one thing I do want to say, just in case anyone's wondering, it is not pier that I've used on that footpath to actually put that down. As you'll remember me saying, I want to save pier and only use it where and when I have to. So this path, I actually used intersection marking tool on that you can see here. And what I'd done is I'd selected by holding Alt, the green, the red, and the green and the red on the opposite sides. And instead of doing like any sort of other thing that you would do there normally, I selected the drop down for a decal, and I'd found the decal for the path. And I'd put that down and I'd just shrunk it to size a little bit by pulling the corners in so it fit really nice and snug. And that's how I managed to fit that with inside of the footpath, because like what I said, we're trying to save pier, and I'm not trying to just pier anything and everything, because we've got quite a lot of stuff to come that's going to use a lot of PO, so I really want to save as much PO as humanly possible for them projects when we actually do get onto it. But for right now, I'm just slinging down an absolute shed ton of different bushes and whatnot, and I do end up editing out there because I was looking through Find It for ages for some stuff that I just didn't end up finding in the end. So I just went and grabbed this grass because, you know, I'm like, I gotta throw grass anywhere and everywhere I can. I just think it adds so much realism to it. I know it causes the shadows to flicker like crazy because of all the shadows that it's casting and all that other lovely stuff. But I just love the way the grass prop looks in the game, so I'm never gonna stop using it. I just think it looks great. Okay, so you know what time it is, I know what time it is. It's time I stop rambling and leave you with the rest of the video. But before I do go, I'm just going to say that I'm going to be adding in some more commentary in the future episodes that I'll be doing. And it's mainly just going to be me talking about what I'm building and how I'm going to go about building it and the assets that I'm going to use. And just my overall thoughts about building it, and if I came into any problems while building it and how I fixed it, and maybe just that kind of stuff, because I know some people have asked for it in the past, and I figured, hey, why not? Rather than it just being full of music from start to finish, why don't I just have a little bit of a ramble about what's going on, and instead of just talking about stuff that's happened in the past, what's going to happen in the future and so on, we can just focus mainly on the episode itself. So I'm going to see about that for the future episodes that are going to be happening. But for now, I do want to thank you all for watching, and like always, I'll see you all in the next one.
you.